Our next storyteller is somebody that I have known for about 40 years, believe it or not, and who I watched develop her acting skills. Please welcome to the stage Sally Walker.
I'm glad to hear that my acting skills are developed. Okay. This, first of all, I'd like to say something. It's not exactly, it's not qualifier, so don't think of it like that. But I have to tell you, or people won't know. At this moment, I need to pee so bad. I am terrified. And I'm a professional. Okay? Some would say writer, some would say director, some, I'm an accomplished person along those lines. This is a frightening and daunting thing to tell a story of any kind, and I want to make sure you know that, so that any of you out there realize it's something you just do. You just do it. We'll see how this goes. This is a tale that comes from my 18th year, and I'm over a half-century old now. It's a cautionary tale, and pick the part, because I'm sure many of them will, that is cautionary for you, or someone you know. It starts on the western slope, where I'd gone to stay in Aspen, thinking that would be a grand adventure, and it kind of was. I mean, it was hard. There was 8 of us in a 2-bedroom condo, because it took that many of us to pay the rent. We sort of slept like cordwood. But I cleaned John Denver's grapes. That's another story. By dint of not being able to clean drapes anymore, I ended up in a non-fiscal way, which made me inhabitate uninhabited building, which the local Aspen police frowned upon. But that's another story. Okay, back to the story I'm supposed to tell. So as a result, I decided I've got to use what little money I have left, and I'm going to buy this VW van, and I'm going to go back home to Manitou Springs, Colorado, and live on my mother's porch. So much I'm still doing that. But so let me tell you a little bit about this purchase. It was a VW van. It was my first purchase of a car by myself, so there was nobody there to say, you need these papers or those papers and stuff signed here, and do the right, hold your tongue right when you sign it. And so, but I bought it, and I had to get out of town, as you know. And so I went to a little town called Rifle, Colorado, on the western slope, which was, it's kind of like Manitou. They had more bars per capita than any other town on the western slope, which is saying a lot with you. But I lived there as my taking off point because the bars were dense, and the only way I could come up with enough money after having made this great purchase of this VW van, which, by the way, had seen better days. I've got to tell you, so that you know, that this van had been, I don't know, run into something, I think. And as a result, its crumple zone, which, if you remember the old vans, they were flat-nosed to begin with, so what crumple zone? I'm sorry about the person's knees, whoever was driving at the time, but the door went out, it folded into a pyramid shape, so that as you were driving, you could see how fast you were going. Which wouldn't have helped because it didn't work anyway. So that was the state of the van, but other than that, you know, it's a good car. And plus I could fit all my things in it. I had things, you know, and a plant. But the reason that I went to Rifle was to get the gas money to make it across the Great Divide, to come home to Manitou Springs, Colorado Springs. And the way I could make money, the only way I knew to make money in those days that I was willing to do, was to hustle foosball. Ask Ashley. Ain't no girls can play no foosball. And that went a long way towards making money. But I did very well. And so I hustled up the money. That's another story, trust me. That's a fun night there. But it took until about closing time to do so. And I had enough money to fill it up, and that I did. And off I went. In a whiteout blizzard at 2 in the morning from Colorado. What was I thinking? I don't know. I gotta get home to Manitou Springs. And plus I couldn't stay there. Because you know what? And there were a couple of angry patrons as well in the eye, so I had to go fast. You know. So up you go, you know, up these windy Colorado mountain roads without the guardrails. That costs money. The trees will stop you at least halfway down. And in a whiteout, which, you know, you can't tell if it's because the wind is driving it towards you or you're driving toward it, but it's coming at you. Like this time it's personal. So you know, in the VW bus where you got the flat nose and the windshield, and literally my nose was up against the glass the whole time, like this, with the accelerator depressed fully. In second gear, I believe, way until the other side, just had it pedal to the metal. I had a ball in my foot for like almost a year after that, from having been so cold and using such energy for so long on depressing the accelerator. And it was so cold because, as you remember, the door. Now you're getting a fullness of the snow-swept sort of Walton Hill that I was living on there, and the plant was all the way in the back, y'all. You tree huggers that are scared for the plant, it was all the way in the back. It was probably doing better than I was. I know it wasn't. I still have cuttings from it. Actually, it lives, as do I, to tell you. But as you can imagine, it was just tense, and it was not acutely tense, it was chronically tense. Okay, and all through the night I drove this way, keeping a vigilant eye on what I was hoping was the edge of the road. Because it's virgin snow, no other idiot is out there, you know, at that time of night going, let's go up the mountain. Here we go. Come on, kids, here we go. I did, and I thought, I gotta get home to Manitou Springs. Everything will be all right then. Up over I went, down I started. There's a gas situation at this time. Because you can only, you know, I could hustle the money up till the cows come home, but you can only put so much gas in the tank. And then it decided to be all used up. So, I was panicking because, of course, the dawn is just not even barely breaking, and I'm going, oh no, I'm in the middle of nowhere, and not real familiar with the territory I'm in, and thinking, what are the chances of a 7-Eleven floating up? If I had a gas can, the trek would be hellacious, I'm sure. So, but as luck would have it, and I do, this is a lucky thing, there was on the outskirts of some damn film festival town or something. Probably. There was like a stop and go you know, here you got it and some gas. And, but they weren't open, it was still darkest before the dawn kind of thing. And so, but I rolled up into that and I said, okay, now I'll wait till they open, which I'm sure can't be too long. You know? It's not banger's hours, don't gas people wake up at like 6, 7 in the morning, come on out and start pumping gas and checking oil. Okay, so about 9 o'clock that morning, which I'd like to say was nice and cool because it was winter. No, I'm baking in the sun in my VW, and trust me, the door did not afford much ventilation in this case. You know, it works one way but not the other. I don't know why. I get some gas, but thank you. Now, I can go home to Manitou. Full tank on the road, here I go. I'm not quite sure why the cops stopped me. Although I'm willing to bet even money that there was a light out or something in the bus. Or possibly that I was going as fast as it could possibly go and going downhill from having forgotten that I didn't have to, you know, have a lead foot. But in any case, he stopped. And he said, there's a problem with your registration. I said, well, what is it? I'll fix it. Just tell me what it is, I'll go have it fixed. It's improper. In fact, that's what the charge was, improper registration. Which, you know, you learn something every day. And I don't even really remember how hysterical I must have been. I'm sure that's a whole other story too. But I was 2 miles from home. I know! But I got to wave at it as it went by in the back of the cop car on my way downtown. Now this is back in the day, because like I said, I'm pretty old now and I was pretty young then. So back in this time period, they didn't have CJC out there. They didn't have, what they had was a jail under the courthouse downtown, made out of the same rocks I think a Broadmoor is made out of, but not quite so fancy looking. You know, it's historical. And they had to take me down there because I was of age, I was of majority, and they had to, because I had no more money, I said, do you have a foosball table, Dad? They aren't joking. And so, of course, they had to intake me into the jail. Now, I gotta tell you, not my first run-in with the cops, not my first illegal thing I'd ever done, and actually most of them had been on purpose. This was a complete fluke. But it was the first time I was ever incarcerated. I was in jail. I'd been in kitty jail overnight once because there was an APB out of me. I did not run away, mother. And the intake was something. I mean, if I wasn't hysterical before, I certainly got so. They have the matrons handle you because you're a female, and they're putting you through the drill. You have to take your clothes off and put their clothes on. You have to remove all jewelry. They have to search you in third date kind of way. And there was a ring that I had on that was, it had been my grandmother's ring or something, but it was just a plain white gold band, and I'd had it on since I was like 14. So like 4 years later, I'd never taken it off. It's, you know, what jewelry I had, I'd had on forever until it fell off. And as you can tell, it's all fallen off now. No replacements inside. But I was trying to take it off, and not so easy. You know, I had grown around it. And the matrons and I we're trying all the tricks, and they're pulling on it, and not gently. And I'm saying, well, you can't get it off. It should be, they'll steal it from you, they said. We can't take it off. How do you suppose they would steal it from me? No, I think it's pretty safe. They'll cut your finger off to take some of those itches in there. Off trade.